Well, g'day and kia ora, everybody. We're very pleased to have you on board with our webinar today. We're unpacking the MARKHAM Flooring Installation Guide. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Sorry we can't show you where the toilets are or the fire escape. The presenters will be Henry Mitchell. He'll be talking you through most of the technical side. He's an NAPRI officer. I'll give him an opportunity to introduce himself in a moment. And myself, it's Brendan Stead in Bundaberg, Queensland. You can ask questions. There's a Q&A button in a toolbar at the bottom, which comes up if you float your mouse over that. We'll be happy to answer the questions live at the end of the presentation if we're able, or separate email if it's too hard. Well, we would just like to put up here a little welcome poll. If you could share with us why you joined today, and while you're doing that, Henry's going to tell us about himself. Go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, g'day, Brendan. Thanks very much for that intro. Thanks and welcome to everybody across New Zealand and Australia. Good to have you all on board here. I've been with MARKHAM for about 9 years now. So flooring and moisture control and hydrogel treatments and concrete are a very passionate subject of mine. And yeah, together we'll tell you a little bit more about where we can help you today, but just wait for those results to come back up and just get a bit better idea so we can make it a bit more informative. But yeah, how are we looking there, Brendan?
Looking good, Henry. We've got strong emphasis on our architects and construction design professionals. Welcome everybody in that category. We're very glad to have you, and a fairly even mix for the remainder of the options.
Yeah, it looks good. Okay, right, take it away, Brendan.
Okay, so the learning outcomes here, as we've said, we're unpacking the MARKHAM Flooring Installation Guide. We're going to start with a bit of why concrete floor slab moisture issues exist under flooring and why we're even talking about it, and then the why behind why we created the MARKHAM Flooring Installation Guide, which was in the context of our own products, but we've come to realise it's got broader industry application, which is why we're taking a little bit of time to open it up for you today for its broader appeal. So forgive us if you hear us mentioning the products as we go through, but we'll have a talk about that at the end as well. We want to talk about an advanced approach to concrete moisture control. Henry, walk us through the technical side.
Awesome, thanks, Brendo. Just one more reminder, everybody, there's any questions in the question and answer box. But moving on from what we've just heard from Brendan, we want to talk about the why we have flooring moisture issues. A number of reasons. There may be existing concrete with a failed DPC underneath. You might have leaking concrete with moisture coming through. Predominantly those in the architect sector, which we've filled out the poll. Thanks for that and welcome. This is the area we can help you guys. So on average, it takes about 25 mils per month to get below a safe level before we can lay flooring, carpet tiles, vinyls, anything on concrete. And you might say, well, that's enough time, but that doesn't start from the time the concrete was poured. That starts from when the concrete was last wet. So we all know in our crazy sped up lives and business and construction programs these days, there's never 6 months in a program after you've enclosed the building to wait before you can put flooring. So, and the reason obviously why we have flooring moisture is that people put a lid on that, a curing membrane, something like that, traps all the moisture inside, and then they come to flooring. And a lot of those wax-based cures are not compatible. So people have to say, right, we have to grind that off and do some floor prep. It instantly lets all the moisture out of our concrete, and we have to moisture control it there and then. So we'll talk a little bit further down the track of how we can help you with that. A little bit about the why we have problems in concrete, basically because it takes a long time to dry out. So background of the MARKHAM Flooring Installation Guide. So this is nothing new. We've just done an updated form. You see the one behind there is the original Acron 2000, 5 rules and 8 precautions, and we've got the new one in front, which we'll unpack in the next couple of slides. We just wanted to put it out there. There is a new version out there for you guys to have a look at. Essentially, 5 rules and 8 precautions is something that we stand by here at MARKHAM when we're with concrete. This is regardless of whether it's hydrogel treated concrete or not. These are just good building practices or good practices for installing flooring. For instance, surface absorbency, surface prep, spread of adhesives, time since pour, things like that. You have to have absorbency in your concrete. You have to have a key for your carpets and your adhesives and your vinyls to bond to. So these are just things we send out with each application, just to be more, I guess, educating the market on that. So they're the 5 rules, which we can send you a copy of after this if you do intend to have one. And secondly, the 8 precautions. So again, a number of 8 things or 8 precautions to be aware of when it comes to concrete and moisture control. So quality assurance, good trade practices, grinding. We all know, every floor layer out there would know more than me, they're the professionals, that you don't lay floor coverings in direct sunlight because you can have issues. Wet lay, recommendations for non-adhering, grinding of concrete, things like that. These, I mean, regardless, as I said earlier, regardless of whether you've got hydrogel treated concrete, your flooring still needs a key, and if it's too burnished up, it will need a grind or it will need a sand for those adhesives to bond to the surface. So we just want to put that out there to help you guys along the way a bit. Moving on, and we've talked about the why we get moisture and concrete issues. We've talked about the why behind our flooring guide. Now we want to talk about the why behind moisture control and hydrogel systems. So this is where we can help you. We can save time and money. To save more time than money is a biggie. For me, I like to talk to people about program savings. You can see all the red highlighted lines in the little picture there. These are under nano form, so you wouldn't be able to see them by the eye. A concrete pore is about 50 nanometers, which a human here is 100,000. So you can see the sort of pore size we're talking. The hydrogel treatment can get down to 10 nanometers. So when we spray apply to the concrete, we get up to 150 mils penetration into your concrete, transforming that gel in all those voids and porosities into another state. So it's immobilized. It's internal moisture control. It can't come out of the concrete. Therefore, saving your clients time and money in areas like programs. So we can put this down at the time of green concrete, and you can put flooring down within 28 days of brand new concrete, overweighting that crazy 6 months we talked about earlier. And you can see that little comment there from Whitney Belakowitz, CEO and founder of Intelligent Concrete out of Colorado. One of the biggest problems in the industry today is that we're solving problems with yesterday's technologies. It's time for a change. So it's about an education. These hydrogels have not been around. They've been around since about 85, but they're a new education to a lot of people. It's about internal treatment of concrete. You think of it like a spray applied admixture, if you'd like. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of idea around the hydrogel working inside the concrete. We're not adding anything foreign to concrete. Have you got anything to add on that, Brendan?
No, that's good, Henry. Important to emphasise the point about immobilising the moisture. A relative humidity test, an RH test, might still show a high moisture content, mightn't it? But it's,
yeah, correct.
It is in fact immobilised. It doesn't move.
Yeah, correct. So the hygrometers, when you put them on the surface of concrete, it does throw up its arms and legs and say, hey, there's something in the concrete that looks like moisture. But the fact is that it's another state. It's no longer moisture. So it's not foreign to concrete. So engineers and people like that, it's still helping them with curing a concrete. It's feeding the hydration process, but it's controlling that moisture in the concrete. So then you shouldn't have any problems. So that's the why behind the hydrogel solution, and why we like to talk to you guys about it. So we'll move on to a couple of projects now we've successfully completed. Take us away, Brendan.
Thanks, Henry. Yeah, it's these projects we're demonstrating just to give you a bit of an idea of the types of projects that this is very applicable to, but it is fairly broad in application. and we have been doing it for quite some years. We've got quite a lot of anecdotal evidence as well as the test results, you might say. This project, I think, was 2019 at PRECAUTIONS South Primary School in Western Australia. We got involved early in this one, and we were able to assist with the curing as well as the moisture control. That's what Henry was talking about, saving time in your construction schedules, and also saves money for a curing barrier, a curing compound at the early stage. But you get in there and treat it right up early before you've done anything else to the slab, and you've got that benefit with hydration, but then at the end of the project you've got the benefit with the moisture control. We stand by that with our warranties, a performance warranty on that moisture control. So yes, go on, Henry.
No, that's right. That was good. A good point you just added about the moisture and the warranties. Tell us a little bit more about that. What do we include?
Well, it does involve our quality control process, and we like to handle it. We have trained applicators, and it gives us that degree of control. It can give you an assurance that yes, it has been treated, and yes, we can guarantee that the floorings won't fail due to moisture issues from the concrete.
Yeah,
that's performance warranty. It's not a like-for-like replacement warranty, which is a very important point to my mind.
Yeah, I'd like to add, I always say we're not just here, not just giving you another pile of product if there's a problem. We'll stand behind that with that 15. Yeah, and the difference is that it's insurance backed. So we can help you guys out and just take that risk right away from those clients.
Yep, that's excellent. This project here is different in as much as the treatment was applied at the end, like just before the floor coverings, or not long before the floor coverings were applied. Classic old building. If you're in Melbourne, you'll be probably well familiar with it. It's the old Dimmies building. That clock used to be the Dimmies logo. They preserved the facade and the clock, but the rest of it was gutted. And they put coals on the ground floor with a new slab. We didn't get involved, as I say, to the end of the project, and we worked with the flooring applicators to put the treatment in. So we can, just to emphasise a point, that we can work with the construction team, or we can work with the flooring applicators. We're very happy to do so. We're not against you in that sense. It sometimes seems like a bit of a conflict of interest, but we are happy to work with the flooring teams.
Yeah, that's correct. So just moving on to a couple of projects a little bit close to home for me. So this is the cool new Nelson Airport that's been probably in operation for about, I think it was before lockdown. So yeah, about a year. And they built it in two halves, obviously to keep the old one still functioning while they built the new airport beside a new terminal. And they built a raft, they poured a raft slab, put all their build in place, and then they came through about 6 weeks before opening and poured a topping slab. And if you guys remember back to the early slides where we talked about the 25 mils per month, obviously they had a 150 thick topping slab here that they wanted to put flooring down within a couple of weeks so they could open this airport up and then start in the second half. And if they hadn't had a moisture control and cure at the time of pouring that topping slab, they would have had to wait that long period. So we helped them obviously by installing the hydrogel treatments, and they can install flooring within 28 days of brand new concrete. And so we obviously help them with program savings there. We also help them with cost savings as well, because time is money. So that's a pretty cool example of where curing and moisture control really works. And just the last one here, I'm actually a local Kmart, so we're very pleased in Napier here just have a local Kmart opening, especially my wife. We seem to go across to Hastings, which is about half an hour away once a week, so it'd be good to have one 5 minutes from home. But we actually walked through there this morning, and we cured and moisture controlled this whole slab for the Kmart store. Again, helping them with their flooring, install all of their internal flooring. There's obviously a vinyl-backed vinyl tile. So yeah, we cured and moisture controlled that one. So a great little example there where we can help out in the local economy as well. So that's a bit of a wrap on some of our projects, a little bit of how we do it, why we do it. If you have got any questions there, you can ask us now, chuck it in the questions box. See, there's about 15 people on there still, so thank you very much. We've got one question there. Awesome question there from, can the product be applied to your old concrete? Yes, it can. So that is, it's a penetrating treatment. So the moisture helps it get in. As long as your concrete's raw concrete, if moisture can get into your concrete, the Acron treatments can get in there too. So we can get that 150 plus penetration right into there. And we know this from working a lot in a little bit of a different industry, but in the marine environment to stop salts and chlorides getting into rebar. So we can spray apply there. I hope that answered your question. Any other questions out there? We'll just leave it open for a little bit longer. We've got one more. Is this product suitable for small residential products using tiled floor finishes? Anywhere where you got floor finishes, we can help you with moisture control. We generally stick to the commercial area market. We don't do residential, but we are a very project focused company as well, and we would like to be able to come up with a solution that could help you in your project on that. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, we might make contact on that one after, or directly after Henry.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right, what do we got? We got anything else? Is it just for floors, or can it be used for precast walls? Another good question. So yeah, predominantly this webinar we were talking about curing and moisture control of floors, but the hydrogel treatment doesn't matter whether it's a vertical surface or a horizontal surface. It still works inside the concrete. So yes, we can waterproof precast walls. When you're talking about precast, though, it comes a little bit of a different game. We would probably more work down the line of some of our new concrete admixtures, which we can talk about. We can send some information. We've got admixtures there that waterproof the internal matrix and seal the vertical surface as well. So a little bit of a different game, but yes, it can be used on precast walls. So just leave it open for one or two more.
Did you want to have a word, Henry, about including it in specifications?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for those that are still on board, we work from design through to installation. So we've got all the master specs, all the NAT specs. We can project write specs for you guys for your project. We like to be able to chat and get an idea right at the start. We're a risk-averse company, so we don't just go out there saying, holders, bowlers, this is what you need. We work out, taking into account your program, taking into account the scope, taking into account the end use of the building and that sort of thing. So that last question there is a good one, actually. I have a solution with a finished building. How much damage occurs during the remediation process? So I guess we can post-apply it towards the end of before flooring, if I make myself clear. But there is obviously a different, the cost goes up because with this flooring prep, we have to do the likes of mask off all your windows, your aluminium, your finishes, that sort of thing. So there's a bit more to it, but yeah, we can definitely install it before flooring. How much damage occurs? Well, all the people that work for us and our applicators are trained applicators. It's managed through our head office here in Napier, New Zealand. For New Zealand and Aussie, we've got project managers on the ground there in our head office in Sydney. And we would make sure that there's no damage left. So we'd leave the finishes as they were before we started. But ideally, it's best to get onto it, spec it in your project at documentation stage, get onto it, spray apply it at the time of new concrete, and you got your problem done. Temperature limitations.
Just looked up the tech data sheet on that one, Henry.
Sorry?
Just looked up the tech data sheet on the temperature limitations.
Yeah, there's not much there.
So that can't apply at less than 2.8 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, and the other end of the scale, it's ridiculously hot, and if humans wouldn't be able to live in the conditions. So You can obviously we work in throughout Australia. I know the boys in Perth over the last few months have been hitting the 40s. It's more about their health and safety than the product's health and safety, making sure they're hydrated and that sort of thing. So no limitations around the product applications. And that it does work well with freeze thaw, because we're transforming the moisture into a different state. It can't freeze. So in real cold applications, we can't put it on below 2 degrees. But if we put it on before that temperature drops, obviously it's going to protect your concrete. And another one there, do hydrogels work with just concrete or other masonry products like clay bricks? Has to be cementitious for the hydrogel to work inside the concrete, so it just forms more of the CSH process. Clay bricks, we would probably add, that's where we'd step in as a risk-averse company and say, no, we think you point in the direction that you should go. Concrete block, anything we do with bricks, you're opening yourself up a little bit, because you've got grout lines, you've got potential of movement, you've got potential of cracking and moisture coming through as well as out of the concrete. So we would tend to steer away from masonry and clay bricks. Hopefully I answered your question.
If I could just add a comment on that, Henry, we do have other products for vertical masonry surfaces, which is a slightly different field to what we're talking about today, just not to be confused, but not for
that's good.
Not for flooring moisture.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so just like to thank everybody for joining today. Hopefully it's been informative. Thanks, Brendan, for your input, and thanks everybody out there. If you've got any questions, you can email myself or Brendan. We'll help you out and try to help you out on a project, whether it's early on or post end of a project. But yeah, thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you later.
Thank you, everybody.